What's up, everybody? Now, this is Understanding Evil Part 3. We're going to talk about the root of all evil. I believe the root of all evil is lack, a deep, unfulfilled desire. People want things they either do not have or denied, can't have or not ready for, or can't afford. And when these desires become too strong, they contemplate ways on getting them, even entertaining evil thoughts. This is the root of all evil. Lack is the recognition or perception of an absence of something essential or desired. This could be anything from basic needs like food, water, shelter, to more abstract desires such as love, status, and meaning. When people feel deprived of something they consider important, a powerful sense of yearning can take hold. This desire can be healthy and motivating when it drives individuals to improve their lives through hard work, creativity, and ethical means. However, when the desire becomes overwhelming and the lack feels unsurmountable, it can distort one's moral compass and leads to harmful behavior. Unfulfilled desires can lead to significant mental distress, creating feelings of inadequacy, frustration, envy, and resentment. These emotions can cloud our judgment, leading individuals to rationalize unethical actions as necessary or justifiable. The constant awareness of what one lacks can become an obsession, narrowing the focus solely to obtaining the desired object or outcome, often at the expense of other values and relationships. This mental strain can also lead to feelings of desperation. Desperation is a dangerous state because it can override the usual moral and social restraints that guide behavior. When people feel that their desires cannot be met through acceptable means, they may begin to contemplate or ultimately engage in actions that society would normally consider wrong. This might include lying, cheating, stealing, or even more extreme behaviors such as violence or exploitation. Unchecked, deep desires can drive individuals to commit acts that harm others and destabilize community. One of the most insidious dangers of unfulfilled desires is the way it can lead to rationalization of evil. People may begin to believe that the ends justify the means, convincing themselves that their actions are necessary or deserved because of the intensity of their desires. This rationalization can erode moral integrity, leading to a cycle where increasingly harmful actions are taken to satisfy desires that may never be fully quenched. For instance, someone who is financially disadvantaged might start by justifying minor thefts, frauds, or engage in seedy, disreputable activities, telling themselves that they deserve or need it because of their circumstances. Over time, this mentality and behavior can escalate as the initial satisfaction fades and the desire intensifies, leading to more significant and harmful actions. The individual becomes trapped in a cycle of further investing, doubling down in immoral behavior, driven by the insatiable nature of their desire. On a larger scale, unfulfilled desires can have devastating societal consequences. When large groups of people feel a sense of collective lack, whether due to poverty, oppression, or inequality, it can lead to social unrest, conflict, and even war. Societies where basic needs and desires are systematically unmet may experience higher rates of crime, corruption, and violence as individuals and groups seek to fulfill their desires through any means necessary. Moreover, Cultures that prioritize material wealth, status, or power as measures of success can exacerbate these problems. When societal values are centered on acquiring more rather than contentment, compassion, and ethical behavior, the pressure to satisfy desires intensifies, leading to widespread moral decay. This isn't about assigning blame or passing judgment, but rather about understanding that if we can identify the root cause, we may find a solution. Hard times often drive people to take desperate measures, especially when survival is on the line. By acknowledging this, we can approach the issue with empathy and focus on addressing the underlying causes rather than just the symptoms. Sometimes it's not even about survival. Even those who are well off, financially secure, engage in wrongdoing to fulfill their desires born from a sense of lack or a deep unmet yearning. Why money is not the root of all evil? The idea that money is the root of all evil has persisted for generations, reducing human greed and immoral behavior to a singular object, currency. This notion, while compelling, is a partial truth and masks the deeper, more complex issues at play. Money, in its essence, is neutral, an inanimate object that facilitates trade, fulfills basic needs in our modern society. It is not inherently evil, nor does it compel people to commit immoral acts. Rather, it is the desires, fears, and internal voids within individual that leads them to misuse money or pursue unethical actions to acquire it. By shifting the blame onto money, people are able to avoid confronting their own deeper motivations, which stems from feelings of lack and inadequacy. At the heart of the issue lies the concept of lack of desire, a pervasive sense that something essential is missing from one's life. Money merely serves as a means to an end, a tool through which people seek to fill that void. Whether it's material wealth, power, prestige, or personal relationships, money is often used as a medium to acquire what we believe will make us whole. However, the true root of evil is not money itself, but the unfulfilled desires and unmet needs that drive us to crave it in the first place. All right, so money is not the root of all evil. It's unfulfilled desires. People crave money because of what money can do for them, right? Money can fulfill your desires. So it's not the money itself that's the root of all evil. It's the desires. What do you want? The unfulfilled desires that you have. And because money is the medium to get your desires, this is why people crave money in order to fulfill their desires. But the root of evil itself is not money. It is the unfulfilled desires of our heart. And how do we meet these unfulfilled desires? How do we fulfill them? Right? Desires is not bad, right? It's actually when we try to fulfill these desires, how are we going to fulfill these desires? That's what determines what's good and what's evil. Now let's continue. Even in a world without money, human beings would still experience desire, and in that lack, evil would still rear its ugly head. The void within us, the sense of not being enough or not having enough, creates the conditions for immoral behavior, regardless if money exists or not. That is huge, right? This can be seen across all social classes. The poor may seek money as a means of survival, believing that wealth will free them from their struggles. But even among the wealthy, where material abundance should theoretically eliminate the need for more, the same feelings of lack persist. The rich, despite having access, to nearly limitless financial resources, often crave power, influence, or validation. Their wealth does not shield them from the inner void that drives unethical behavior. This is why even the rich can be driven to immoral actions, as they too suffer from an internal sense of lacking something that money alone cannot provide. This is proof that money or the love of it is not the root of all evil. This is proof, right? So, the rich man wants money to fulfill his desires. The poor wants money to fulfill their desires. They want food, they want homes, they want basic necessities, right? But if we say money is the root of all evil, why do rich people commit crime? Why do they commit immoral actions? They have all the money in the world, but they still commit evil. So this is proof that money is not the root of all evil. It's unfulfilled desires. There's rich people, despite having all the money in the world, they still have a lack inside of them. They still have a void inside of them. They still have some things that they want to fulfill. And because they have a desire within them, this is why unethical behaviors persist. There's certain things that money cannot buy, right? This is important. Okay, so both the poor and the rich are susceptible to committing evil. Wanting and craving money is the symptom of poverty, not the cause. The cause of evil is desire, the contemplation of fulfilling our wants and needs through immoral means. In essence, money is not the root of all evil. It is merely a symptom of a deeper problem. Wanting money reflects a broader issue of unfulfilled desires, where individuals turn to external sources to fill the internal void they experience. We covet what we do not have: material possessions, status, basic needs, relationships, and personal security. When these things are denied, when they seem unattainable, and when we feel we are not enough without them, we may resort to immoral or illegal means to get what we want. The root of evil is the lack within us, the hollow space in our lives that we attempt to fill. Also, teaching that money is the root of all evil, particularly to those who are already struggling in poverty, is not just misguided, it can be detrimental to their aspirations and potential for growth. In a world where money serves as a crucial medium for obtaining goods and services, promoting the idea that money itself is inherently evil can lead to a sense of hopelessness and complacency among the poor. This narrative discourages individuals from striving for better conditions and achieving financial stability, effectively trapping them in a cycle of poverty. By framing money as the villain, we overlook the role as a necessity, we overlook its role as a necessary tool that can empower individuals to improve their circumstances and pursue their goals. What about materialism? The idea that money leads to materialism is commonly accepted, but perhaps it's more accurate to say that it is the love of material things that drives materialism. Money is merely a vehicle, a means to an end, rather than the ultimate object of desire. It serves as a tool to access and acquire what we truly want. Consider money like a car. People generally don't have an inherent love for the car itself, except perhaps the collection, I'm sorry about that. Consider money like a car. People generally don't have an inherent love for the car itself, except perhaps for collectors and enthusiasts. But for most people, the car's values lies in the ability to transport them to a destination quickly and conveniently. If a better alternative emerged, like how we once replaced horses with cars, people would likely embrace the alternative without hesitation. If it were possible to replace the car with flying cars, hover cars, private mini jets, or teleportation, we most definitely would. I would definitely give up my car if I had the power to teleport anywhere in the world. LOL. Likewise, if a more efficient way to achieve our desires than paper money existed, people would adopt it. This parallels how money functions in our lives. We desire money. It says, we desire what money can obtain: comfort, security, power, possessions, experiences, not the currency itself. Money is simply the most practical and versatile medium for achieving these ends for now. Those who amass wealth aren't typically hoarding money just for the sake of it. Rather, they recognize its capacity to fulfill almost any worldly desire. It provides access to essentials like luxuries alike. It provides access to essentials and luxuries alike: food, shelter, entertainment, influence, sensual pleasure, and even a sense of safety. They hoard money because they can buy people and favors. They can purchase power and control. The allure of materialism, then, comes not from money itself, but from the nearly unlimited power it holds to satisfy various human desires. Many people who are bought compromise their values for their desires. They accept financial gain because they already have plans and making plans on what they will spend the money on. So, a person that compromises their values, right? For instance, let's say I want to be a movie star, right? And somebody approaches me and say, hey, I can make you a movie star, but you have to do X, Y, and Z, right? Now, I'm gonna go, if I truly want this desire to become a movie star, I will do X, Y, and Z in order to become the movie star. You see, this is why money is not the end all and be all. It's because it fulfills my desires. You see, people already have plans. They already have plans of what they're going to do once they receive the money. They know, okay, yeah, with this money, I can buy a house, I can buy cars, I can buy people, I can get access to certain locations. So, yeah, give me the money. I'm going to compromise my values, right? Give me the money. Because they already have intentions already of what to do with that money. They already planned their lives out already. You see? It says many people who are bought compromise their values for their desires. They accept financial gain because they already have plans or making plans on what they will spend the money on. This often stems from premeditated expectations or plans about how money will enhance their lives, be it status, comfort, or fulfilling personal ambitions. Such decisions highlight the internal conflict between upholding one's principles and the temptations of immediate gratification, showcasing how easily values can be set aside when a clear path to fulfilling desires is presented. In this sense, materialism reflects a deeper drive to find meaning, status, or pleasure through external acquisition. If society were to move away from a monetary system, this underlying materialistic desire will still exist. Only the mechanism of acquisition would change. This observation brings us back to the root of the issue, desire itself. Money amplifies one's ability to pursue that desire, but it is the desire for material possessions that influence that truly fuels materialism. You can choose to focus on the material world or pursue material gain, or immerse yourself in a spiritual world for spiritual growth. Alternatively, you can strive for a balanced approach that allows for the benefits of both without compromising values, causing harm to oneself, or negatively impacting others. Achieving this harmony ensures that ambition and fulfillment are met with integrity and respect for one's principles and the well-being of others. Summary: lack and desire are not the root of all. Lack and desire are at the root of evil, all evil. Yet we rely on money to satisfy those desires, to fulfill that void left that by what we feel we lack or desire. Money is the medium through which we acquire things, but it's often too painful to admit that we ourselves are responsible for wrongdoing, that our own choices feed this cycle evil. I put a typo. I should add that our own choices feed this cycle of evil. So we shift blame onto external factors like money, finding scapegoats to avoid the discomfort of self-reflection. Almost everyone has a scapegoat, a convenient target to blame, because facing the truth by looking in the mirror requires a level of accountability that many find hard to bear. Now the next question becomes, what is your desire and what is your will?